So I just got some UV resin to be able to clear coat the lures that I make. So today I'm going to be making a UV light box to be able to clear coat and set all of our lures. I'll add the links to these two products down in the description below. Let's get started. There's not many supplies for this build. All I need is some scrap plywood for the box, obviously the light there that we have to cure the lures, an extra scrap piece there for the bracket to hold up the light box, some aluminum foil, and then also some door hinges there. I got them off an old cabinet door, and I'll explain why I have those in a couple minutes here, but that is all you need to be able to make this build. So I reorganized the shop a little bit, and basically I did have this whole painting and organization set up right about here. I cleaned it up a little bit and added a few more things like this light here and where I set my phone to do the top-down view for painting, but I moved that all over just so I had more space right here, and basically the light box is going to go right here, and I'm going to make a door that comes down on the light box so that way I can just reach in and hook up the lure there to be able to be cured, and I don't have to worry about going in through the top and bumping the lure on the top shelf there. So that's where the light box is going to go, and then I also have this extra space here for another project that we're going to work on in a week or so now. So that's the location for the light box, and we can draw it out and get working. I was looking for one of these things to be able to kind of connect and hold up the door when we want to close it, but I couldn't find one small enough, so I'm going to make my own with this little piece of wire here and also a split ring that I have. So I'm going to do that, basically just get one of these things, but smaller, thread it through that, and then pinch the bottom, and then also put one up a little higher so that way I'll be able to thread this through when I want to close the door. Now that I have all the hardware together, I'm going to start working on the box. I traced out the UV light to be able to know where the box we should cut out is. So now I'm going to draw out holes in the four corners and then cut along those lines there with the jigsaw, and then we can work on the bracket to be able to hold in the UV light. Now that the hole's cut, we can work on the brace for the light. The light came with these little holes on the bracket on the bottom, so I'm just going to cut a piece of wood that's that equal length, drill it into the board where this light's going to sit, and then we can drill some screws or put some bolts through those to be able to hold the light in place. Now that all the walls are finished, I'm going to use the aluminum foil to add a layer on the back of each of the walls, and basically that'll allow the UV light to be able to bounce off the walls a little better and hit every side and every angle of the lure instead of only one side. I finished putting the box all together now. I also made a floor and a roof, and all the foil looks pretty good in there. So now the next step is to screw in the light there onto the brace we made and also add some aluminum foil to the base and also the roof. And in case you're wondering where I put the screws for this build, all I did was add them to the corners of each side, and it's not going to be holding up much weight, so you don't really have to worry about how much screws or any support you need in, because really it's only going to be holding up a little lure in there, so not too much stress with that, and yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. So I screwed the door on, and I was originally going to put on this connection piece here, the lock, on top of here, but I put it on the side just that way it's easier to be able to reach it and I don't have to worry about the shelf above it there. And I also ended up screwing this into the wall. So that'll allow it to be more sturdy and allow the hinges to work better, because I added the hinges to the bottom. I could have added it to the inside, but it really didn't matter because I wanted to make sure that was sturdy and in place. So that will allow that to be sturdy in place with those screws in the wall. And say I just clear coated this lure right here, and I have a wire on it, and I can just undo the lock here, lower the door, and then the way I connected it is with wire. So basically this wire that I have the lure hanging from can hang over top on that wire right there, and then it can hang right in front of the light there, and I can fit probably 15 lures across that wire there. So it should work pretty well for if I'm making a big batch of lures or anything like that. So then I can just lock up the door, pull that up, put the pin through, and then turn on the light right here. And there it is, clear coating and setting. For the wire, all I did was drill a hole right here and then pull the wire through and bend it and fold it right there, just that way it won't slip through. I'm sure there's many other ways to make a UV light box like this, but this was just kind of my way of putting it together and using the scrap wood and resources that I had. So that is it for this week's video. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear them. But that is all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.